Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. If you recall, in our last program, we started with the discussion of non-membrane bound organelle, and we completed two, that is the ribosome and centriole. Continuing our same discussion, today inshallah we are going to conclude that topic also. Going with the third and fourth, they are because mimicking with each other in many aspects, that is the cilia and flagella. Both of these are having almost the same structure, and both of these they are going to almost perform the same function. So what the difference is? Difference is of only of length. If the length of this locomotory organelles is less than the diameter of cell on which it is present, then we are using the word cilia. They are usually multiple many. While if the length of this locomotory organelle is more than the diameter of cell on which it is present, we are using the word flagella for that. And both of these, internally they are having the same structure, and externally both are concerned with locomotion. So looking at some of the slides and animation of the structure and function of cilia and flagella. So the cilia and flagella, by definition, a locomotory organ having the length less than the diameter of cell. They are usually many, short in size, having synchronized movements. So these cilia are usually present in our respiratory tract and reproductive systems. Flagella, by definition, having the length more than the diameter of cell. They are usually few in numbers, they are long, and they are having whip-like movements. They are commonly present in reproductive system, as well as they are found in unicellular organism like Euglena. So what it is there inside, so if we are going to cut a cross section of the cilia and flagella, these are having 9 duplets of microtubule in the periphery, and 2 microtubules are there in the center. So this is called as 9 plus 2 arrangement of microtubule in the structure of cilia and flagella. If we compare it with the centriole, our last non-membrane bound organelle, the centriole was hollow in the middle, and that was made up of 9 triplets of microtubule. In case of cilia and flagella, these are 9 duplets of microtubule and 2 in the center. And these are the movements of cilia and flagella. We are going to look in much of the details about these movements. So there is a cover of the cell membrane. So why we are using the terminology of non-membrane bound organelle? Basically, many students are confused for that, because they are having the cell membrane around them. So they should be there under the category of membrane bound organelle. But just to remind you that this is the covering. The cell membrane is not bounded on the lower side. No boundary on the lower side is there. So they are covered by, not bounded by the cell membrane. That is why they are under the category of non-membrane bound organelle. Resuming our slide. So this is the cell membrane, the cover of the cell membrane, and inside this 9 duplets of microtubules and the 2 in the centers, they are there for the cilia and flagella. This is a electron micrographic picture of the cilia. So this bunch of extensions from the cells, and this is one of the flagella. This is our sperm, the human sperms having this head and this long tail, and this is actually electron micrograph. These sperms are moving in the female reproductive tract, the uterus of mother, locating its destination. Okay, looking at the movement of cilia and flagella. So both of these structures, they are going to help in the locomotion. These are the cilia, multiple small, and this is the flagella, long and single. So both of these are responsible for the locomotion or the movement in the organisms. Looking at the detail of these, if we take a cross section from the middle of this, so these are the 9 duplets of microtubules in the periphery, and the two, they are there in the center, right, like a radial spoke. They are covered by the plasma membrane, and looking at, so these are the 9, 2 in the center, 9 plus 2 arrangement of microtubules. All of these are unfused. And how does it move? So looking at the movements, so these are the 2 microtubules. Dynein arms are present between these 2 tubules. They are going to use energy in the form of ATP. Energy is supplied to that. As a result of this energy, so they are going to change their dynein arms are going to change like feet. So they are going to cause the movements in the form like that, and this movement is being depicted like this. So it is going to move in this form. This is the tail of our sperm, how it is going to move. So this was the cross section of this tail. It is moving like that. This was the process of movement of this tail which was there. So both of these locomotory organelles, they are concerned with the process of locomotion. Going with the next non-membrane bound organelles, the 3 of them, they are categorized under one terminology. So our skeletal system, if we remove our bones, what will be our shape? This will be just the heap and mass of cell. So our skeletal system, our bones are going to give us the shape. Many bones, the maxilla, mandible, the bones of face, the bones of arms, feet, chest, ribs. So they are going to give us the shape. And these bones are going to move to give us locomotion. So it is a musculoskeletal system which is going to maintain our shape, which is going to cause the movement or locomotion. Similarly, if going at the cellular level, who is going to maintain the specific shape of a cell? A liver cell is different from a muscle cell, and muscle cell is different from a nerve cell. So they are having specific shapes. How these shapes are maintained, and those cells which are going to have movements, so how they are going to move. One was the cilia and flagella, we have already gone, but the other slight movements which are possible at single cellular level, like amoeba is going to move by pseudopodia. There is no cilia and flagella. So how these movements are going to occur? So we are using the terminology of cytoskeleton, that each cell is going to have the similar structure as our bones, as our muscles. So these are the 3, looking at the detail of structure and function of these cytoskeleton. So there are 3 main types of fibers under the category of cytoskeleton, not bounded by the membrane. So these are microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. The basic difference is of their size. So microfilaments, they are almost 7 to 8 nanometer in diameter. Intermediate filaments, they are from 8 to 12 nanometers in diameter, and microtubules, they are on an average 25 nanometer in diameter, but the microtubules are hollow in the middle. So this is one of the microfilament, this is one of the intermediate filament, and this is one of the microtubules. They are arranged as a skeletal system inside, maintaining the cell and performing the special activity. Looking at another slide, so this is the cell membrane, outer, the 2 sides inside, this is the mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. This is one of the microtubules, and this is one of the microfilament which are there intermingled with all of these organelles. So this is one of the microfilament making a, you can say, zigzag arrangement inside. This is one of the intermediate filament, bigger than that. So this was almost 8, and this from 8 to 12 nanometer in diameter. And these are the microtubules which are hollow in the middle, 25 nanometer total diameter, and inside the lumen is on an average 15 nanometer. So these are the molecular details, that how these are made by the different variety of protein. All of these are basically protein in nature. Functional aspect of cytoskeleton, so they are going to provide strength to the cell, support to the cell, shape to the cell, intracellular transport, because the microtubules are having lumens, and they are going to provide cell to cell links and all of these three, they are basically protein in nature. All of these, they are 100% protein in nature. Looking at one of the animation of these filaments, in this animation we will be looking at that how these different variety of filaments, intermediate filament, microtubules and actin filaments, so they are going to fill the cells in this form, just maintaining the shape of the cell. So these intermediate filaments are more common in some of the animal cells. Let's say this is one of the animal cell, and these intermediate filaments are going to pass through the junctions in the cell membrane, and these junctions, they are given a specific name, and these names are called as desmosome. These filaments are going to pass through these desmosome. This is one of the electron micrographic view of this desmosome. So if these filaments are not present, once a body structure is going to stretch, so these cells are going to split away. So these cells are going to rupture. So these are going to maintain the cell shape and the cell structure, and these filaments, basically they are made up of these, you can say, the protein fibers. And these protein fibers, so they are there arranged in the form like that. This is one of the polypeptide chain, the monomer. Two of these combine together to give us the dimer in the form of a rope-like structure. Another dimer is going to attach with the first dimer to give us tetramer made up of the two coiled, you can say, the dimers, and they are going to basically provide the strength. So these dimers are going to attach with the other two dimers in parallel form, and so this is a long filament which is made in this format, and then parallel there are many filaments which are going to join together, and just they are going to give us a rope-like structure made up of small filaments to provide the strength. So wherever the strength, more the twists in the rope, more the fibers in the rope, so more of the strength is there. So they are almost 8 to 12 nanometer in diameter. These were the cytoskeleton. The microfilaments, actin and myosin filament, usually going to help in the movement of cell. The cell can move from one area to other due to the actin and myosin filaments, microfilaments. So they are mainly concerned with locomotion. Intermediate filament mainly giving the structural support, strength. So they are going to prevent the breakdown of cells. The next, that is the microtubules. Microtubules are going to be used for the purpose of intracellular transport, movement of substances from one corner of cell to the other corner, and they are also used in the synthesis of cilia, flagella and centriole. If you recall, so we were using the word 9+0 arrangement, 9+2 arrangement of microtubules. What these are the part of cytoskeleton. Going with our 8th non-membrane bound organelle, these are microvilli. Looking at the slide, microvilli, they are nothing special. These are the extension of the cell membrane. Cell membrane is going to extend. Again, they are not bounded on the lower sides, and these extension, the purpose of these extension is just to increase surface area. So why we want to increase the surface area? So we want to increase the surface area for the purpose of increased rate of reabsorption. Why increased rate of reabsorption? Because once the cell membrane is going to drag like that, so this cell membrane is going to provide a large surface for absorption, especially, can you just think about that? Where these microvilli must be present? So they must be present where? In our intestinal tract, because whatever the food we are going to eat, it must be reabsorbed. That require a large surface area. Another location of these microvilli, proximal convoluted tubule in the nephron, because it is not only the useful and harmful material which is being filtered. So purpose is not to just pass the nutrients, the useful material in the urine. So proximal convoluted tubule is going to reabsorb all the useful nutrients, all the useful material. So these are the special location where these microvilli are going to play their role. Our last non-membrane bound organelles. These are storage granules. If the food is stored in the membrane bound form, we are using the word plast. So these are the amyloplast, proteinoplast. So if word plast, it means the food is stored in the membrane bound form. But if the food is stored in the granular form, there is no membrane around, then we are using the word granules for that, storage granule. And there are only two varieties of storage granule. Looking at the slide. So food is stored in non-membrane bound form, and these organelles, they are called as storage granules. In case of plant cell, these are called as starch granules, and in case of animal cells, so these are given the name of glycogen granules. We have completed all the 18 organelles which are present. Then in the end, we are going to have the look of whole of the cell organization. So basically the cells are classified into two groups, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. The word pro means before. Karyo is the word used for nucleus. Karyokinesis, division of nucleus. Karyoplasm, that is the nucleoplasm inside. So prokaryote, before appearance of the true nucleus, and eukaryote, word EU always means true. Eukaryote, which are having the true nucleus. This is the definition. But can you imagine that in the prokaryote, all the 9 membrane bound organs, all the 9, they are absent, while eukaryotes are having all of these organelles. So just looking at few of these slides just to show the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic life. So prokaryotic cells, they are very simple. They are having the cell membrane, cytoplasm inside, and no membrane bound organelles are there. Their genetic material is there lying naked in the cytoplasm. There is no nuclear membrane even, while eukaryotic cell is going to have all these organelles. So comparing and contrasting the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, so the common boundaries which are there in prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, so these are cell membrane, DNA is present in both of these, ribosomes are present, but there is difference we will be discussing later on, and the cytoplasm is present in both of these. While all other these nucleus, endoplasmic, all these membrane bound organelles, they are present only in the eukaryotic cell. This is one of the prokaryotic cell which is going to include bacteria and blue-green algae, that is also called as cyanobacteria. So that is going to have this cell membrane. There is no membrane bound organelle. This is the genetic material DNA lying naked within the cytoplasm. They are having the ribosomes which are of 70 S value in comparison to 80 S value in case of eukaryotic cell, and you must be knowing at this stage what the S value is, that is Swedberg unit. Then these are having these extension in the form of pili, large flagellum is there for the movement of this bacteria. So these are the simpler life bacteria and blue-green algae. Eukaryotic cells, they are classified into two main variety, plant cells and animal cell. This is a classical animal cell. We have discussed already in details the outer boundary, all the membrane bound and non-membrane bound organelles which are present in a classical animal cell. This is a plant cell we have already discussed. In addition to that, it is going to have cell wall, it is going to have chloroplast and centrioles, they are absent in case of plant cell. So just looking the difference between animal and plant cell, there are some common component, that is the cell membrane, ribosome, nucleus and all of these. Centriole is present only in animal cell, not present in case of plant cell, while the cell wall and chloroplast, they are present only in case of plant cell, not in case of animal cell. Looking at the summary of differences between the prokaryote and eukaryote, prokaryote, they are usually smaller in size, less than 5 millimeter in diameter, while the eukaryotes, they are larger in size, usually more than 10 millimeters in diameter. Cell wall is present in both of these. In prokaryote, cell wall is made up of a compound which is called as peptidoglycan, amino sugar, also called as muramic acid or murine. While the cell wall is present in case of eukaryote, because the animal eukaryotic cell is not having the cell wall, but the plant cell, they are having the cell wall. So if it is present, it is made of the compound cellulose in comparison to peptidoglycan. Then no nucleus or no membrane bound organelles, while they are present in case of eukaryotic cell. In prokaryotic cell, DNA is circular, there are no histone protein, no chromosomes are there, while in case of eukaryotic, DNA is linear, it is associated with the protein, and it is there in the form of chromatin and coil to form the structure of chromosome. Ribosomes are present in both of these, but in case of prokaryote they are of 70s value, and in case of eukaryote they are of 80s value. The cytoskeleton is absent in case of prokaryotic cell, it is present in case of eukaryotic cell. Cells are going to divide by binary fission in case of prokaryotic cell, while here a specific process of mitosis and meiosis is going to occur in eukaryotic cell. All the prokaryotic cell, they are unicellular, while most of the eukaryotic cell, they are multicellular, they are more complex. We have completed the discussion of the basic building unit of life, the cell. So how our body is made up of these cells, how the body of an animal and plants and prokaryotes are made up of these cells. So we have to go at the level of organization, and looking at the cellular level of organization. So basically these are the smallest particle of an element which retains all the property of that elements. These atoms combine to give us molecules, and these molecules are going to give us organic compounds, and then these organic compounds, they are going to give us the organelles, and the organelles are going to give us the cell, which is the basic unit of life. In our next program, what we will be looking in depth, we will be looking at these biological molecules, that how these biological molecules, they are going to have a specific structure to perform specific function in the cellular organization. This is the topic for our next series of program. So these cells basically, they are going to have the various levels of organization. Cells are going to give us tissues, tissues giving us the organs, and organs are going to give us systems, and systems are going to give us the whole of the individual, the organisms. Looking at the various levels of organizations, so this is a single cell. If many cells, they start performing the same functions, so they are going to be given the name of the tissues, like here the smooth muscles, smooth muscular tissues. And if many tissues are going to perform the same function, we are using the terminology of organ. So this is the stomach acting as an organ, the heart is one of the organ, the brain is one of the organ, and if many organs, they are going to perform the same function, so we are going to use the word system for that, like digestive system, starting from our oral cavity, esophagus, then it is the stomach, duodenum, jejunum, ileum, large intestine. So all of these organs, so they are attaining the status of digestive system. And if organisms of the same species, they start living together in the same area, we are going to use the word population. And if organisms of the different species start living together at the same time in the same area, we are using the word community. And the living organisms in the community, they are going to interact with each other and with their non-living environment, giving us a self-sufficient unit, which is called as ecosystem. So ecosystem is made up of all the living and non-living component of an area, in which the living components are going to interact with each other and with their non-living environment to give us a stable system, ecosystem. It's you, these are you people sitting there. Why I have just placed this slide in the end? We are basically discussing you peoples at the cellular levels. We are actually made up of these basic building units. Every part of the cell, that is given a specific responsibility. And dear students, you are also given the responsibility at this stage of studying. You should be very serious with your studies. So, in-depth study of the cell at the level of molecule is the topic of molecular biology for our next program. Till that time, good luck and Allah Hafiz.